Government corruption has never been more prevalent or caused more harm. It's why extremism is on the rise. It's why the financial gap between the haves and have-nots has never been wider. And it's why our planet is at risk of an extinction level tragedy. That's why I need your help to keep exposing the truth about the rot on both sides of the aisle. Become a supporter or a friend of the show today by clicking on the coffee link in the description box below. Friends of the show join me on a Zoom hangout once a month, and you guys can ask me any questions you want, and I can get to know you better. But the most important reason to help is to keep the show alive. Together, we can and will save our country and our planet. Thanks in advance and enjoy the show. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Plants and Politics. I have an update to share about one of Trump's Capitol insurrectionists. It's time for an episode of Where Are They Now?
Matthew Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
So 60-year-old Georgia resident Michael Daughtry owns an armory business, and he was also a police officer. However, he was fired from that job just a few days after the 2020 election, although I don't know why. So on November 2nd, he posted on Facebook writing, quote, "Anyone needing an AR-15 and some extra ammo before the election, I've got a couple left in stock." And in a December 18th Facebook post, Daughtry said, quote, "When they finally start putting some of these Democrats in front of the firing squad for treason, I hope they'll let me serve on the firing squad. I'll even bring my own ammo." Then on December 26th of 2020, Daughtry posted again on Facebook. This time he shared a photo of a woman, and there were hundreds and hundreds of bullets. And he wrote, quote, "Ain't our purple anti-liberal bullets pretty?" Daughtry posted again on January 3rd and said, quote, "We're thinking about going to the protest in Washington, D.C. on the 6th to support Trump." And then he shared several photos on Facebook on January 6th that were taken at the Capitol. And in one of the posts, he wrote, quote, "We just tore down the fence and stormed the Capitol. They're throwing flashbangs at us now, pepper spray everywhere." In another post on January 7th, Daughtry shared a photo taken from the inauguration scaffolding, and he wrote, quote, "Our view from the scaffolding above the steps on the rear of the Capitol building. This shows maybe 1/5 of the people that were there." Later that day, Daughtry posted again saying that he, quote, "refused to leave the Capitol steps for several hours." And he stated that what happened at the Capitol was staged by the police to, quote, "make us look bad." Remember, this guy's a cop. And then he asserted that, quote, "I never saw one patriot cause any damage or cause any trouble. The violence was all Antifa." So apparently someone from the Pelham, Georgia Police Department saw his Facebook posts. This person called him and recorded him and got him to admit on audio recording all of his crimes. He told this person, quote, "We the one that tore that fence down up there. We was the first ones over the fence. Everybody followed us." So I mean, I thought it was Antifa. I thought they were set up and invited in. I'm so confused. Anyway, I'll try to figure it out. So Daughtry was arrested on January 15th of last year. He was charged with the same 4 misdemeanors you guys are sick of hearing: entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and 1 count of parading or demonstrating in a Capitol. Daughtry took a plea deal in March of this year. He pleaded guilty to entering a restricted building or grounds, and he was looking at up to 1 year in prison, up to 1 year of probation, and up to $100,000 in fines. At the sentencing hearing, Daughtry tried to explain away some of those Facebook posts with basically the old, "I was just holding it for a friend" kind of excuse. He told the judge, quote, "When I got back to the motel that night, probably after midnight, I was down in the lobby drinking coffee. I wasn't friends with them. They asked me to post it. They sent it to me and I reposted it." He also claimed that most of his own statements were just hyperbole. And Daughtry told the judge, quote, "I'm not one of those people who believes in conspiracies and stuff. I never have. You can't be a police officer for 20 years and believe everything you hear." But it was Antifa. U.S. District Judge Randolph Moss presided over this case, and he pressed Daughtry about whether or not he believed that Antifa was responsible and if it was all staged. And Daughtry replied, quote, "It could have been Antifa. It could have been anyone. I'm not saying it was or wasn't. I have no idea who it was. They're trying to get to the bottom of it now, having hearings, going through the video to find out who it was." Have you looked in the mirror? Dude, it was you. You and your MAGA buddies. That's a proven fact. So anyway, unfortunately, Judge Moss is another weak Obama appointee. And even though he believes that you can issue a split sentence for these petty misdemeanors, he ended up sentencing Daughtry to only 60 days of home detention, 36 months of probation, and 60 hours of community service. And he ordered Daughtry to pay a $500 restitution fee. And at the prosecutor's request, he was ordered to undergo a mental health evaluation. And so that exam is really crucial because Daughtry begged the judge to remove his firearm restriction. He said, having that restriction in place is going to prevent him from finding employment as an officer. And he said, my only income source is then going to be my gunsmith work, but then I'm not allowed to have a gun myself. So Judge Moss told him, well, I need to review this mental health exam first, and then I'll make a determination at that time. What the ever living hell? This guy made public statements about wanting to shoot Democrats. And number one, he's still eligible to be a police officer. And then this feckless judge is actually going to consider allowing him to keep a gun in his home. And he gives him this pathetic slap on the wrist for January 6th, when an officer of the law above everyone else should have known better. He should have known that it was illegal to do what he did. This is exactly why I keep complaining about how the right nominates these extremist, far-right, uber-conservative, and partisan judges. And then when the Democrats are in office, they nominate these middle-of-the-road, weak-ass, pathetic moderates because they're so afraid of looking too radical. I am so completely disgusted with the weakness of the left. Fucking fight. You pansy ass, mealy mouthed idiots. Stand up and fight. Oh my God. Anyway, guys, I will let you know when and if I hear more about Daughtry. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care. I will talk with you soon.